Good day, everyone. I am Jasmine Angel Alardon. Today, I will be discussing gender inequality in marriage and criminal law in the Philippines. So, in this report, I will explain how some of our laws treat women and men differently, especially in marriage, family decisions, and criminal cases. Let's start with the objectives. So at the end of the lesson, the student should be able to first is to understand gender inequality in marriage and criminal laws. Second is to identify the status of inequality in selected legal provisions. And the lastly is to assess provisions on the proposed same-sex marriage legislations. First, let us talk about marriage. So according to the family code, marriage is a special contract or permanent union between a man and a woman. So it is created by law to protect and to build a family. So in here, it says that our marriage laws are based on sex only, meaning they only recognize unions between a man and a woman. It shouldn't be same-sex couples. So the 1987 Constitution even calls marriage an inviolable social institution that must be protected by the state. This is important because it shows the law's traditional view in marriage. So marriage is only for opposite couples. And next one is we will talk about the primacy of the husband or the father. Next is we will look at several articles in the family code which are articles 14, article 96, article 124, article 211 and article 225. So all of these articles have one thing in common. So what will happen here is when the husband and wife or the father and mother disagree, the husband or the father's decision prevails. It means only the father's decisions will come will be used. So this applies to giving consent for marriage, managing property, parental authority, and legal guardianship. So although the law says decision are joint, in case of disagreement, the husband voice wins. This shows a clear imbalance because it gives men more power in family decision making. So for the next part of our lesson, we will talk about gender inequality in criminal law. So gender inequality is also seen in criminal law under the revised penal code. The first one is adultery or Article 333. So it is only committed by a married woman who has sexual relations with a man that is not her husband. And its only punishment is imprisonment. Or Article 334 is committed by a married man but yung requirements nito is lighter. He is only guilty if meron siyang mistress, if he have sexual relations under scandalous circumstances, or he lives with another woman. So, ang penalty naman ng concubinage is mas light kesa sa adultery, which is ang punishment ng adultery is imprisonment, while ang punishment ng concubinage ay destierro or banishment. So here, forgiveness clause in rape, Art Republic Act 8353. Another example of this is the forgiveness clause in the anti-rape law. So if the offender marries the victim or is forgiven by his wife, the case can be dismissed. This protects the man more than the victim, which many see it as very unfair. The next one here is prostitution, which is Article 202. So this law defines as a woman, prostitute as a woman who engage in sexual acts for money. So men who do the same thing na nakikipag-sex is not included in the definition of prostitution. So in here, pinapakita na merong double standard sa laws ng Pilipinas na only women, mga babae lang ang nabablame or napapunish. The last article is Article 130 or the Labor Code. So this article restricts women from working at night or in certain jobs. So even if the intention of this law was to protect women, nalilimit nito yung opportunities and mas pinapakita nila at mas pinaparamdam nila na less capable ang mga women kaysa sa mga lalaki. To summarize everything on our first lesson, so our marriage and family laws often place the husband or father or men in a higher position of authority kesa sa mga babae. So, another one is our criminal laws also show unfair differences between how men and women are punished. Women usually have heavier consequences, unlike men who often receive lighter penalties. So, because of this, many people are calling for laws that is gender neutral, it is fair, and also equal for everyone, not just for men. On to the next part of our reporting, which is lesson 24, the Responsible Parenthood and Reproductive Health Act of 2012, or RA 1035-4, also known as the RH law. So, this law was made to help Filipino families, especially those family who are poor and from marginalized communities. It is for them to gain access to reproductive health services, information, and also this law was created because many women, especially those who are poor, do not have the access to reproductive health services. So this causes problems such as unsafe pregnancies, lack of family planning, health risks for mothers and children. So the government stepped in to provide support for them because the private sector and health services were not reaching everyone. These are the elements of RH law, or the main services and information included in this law. So the first one is family planning, information and services. Next is maternal, infant, and child health and nutrition, prevention of abortion and care for women with abortion-related complications, adolescent and youth counseling, prevention and treatment of STIs, HIV and AIDS, then ending violence against women and children, sex education and reproductive health lessons, treatment of reproductive cancers, support for men's reproductive health needs, managing infertility and sexual health, RH education for teenagers, and lastly is the mental health support related to reproductive health. So these are the important provisions of the RH law. First is we have skilled birth attendance. So it is required for every city and town to have enough midwives and skilled health workers to assist mothers during their pregnancy and also their childbirth. So the second one is the emergency obstetric care. It means hospitals must have proper equipment and trained staff to handle emergency cases for mothers. Third is hospital-based family planning. Government hospitals must provide ligation, vasectomy, IUDs, and other family planning services. Next is contraceptives as essential medicine. It means reproductive health products, including the contraceptives. It must be included in the national list of essential medicine. The fifth one is reproductive health education. Schools must teach age-appropriate reproductive health lessons by trained teachers. Sixth one is employee responsibility. Employers must not discriminate against women. They must provide reproductive health information and services to their worker. Lastly is training for community health workers. So barangay health workers must receive updated training and will get additional honoraria after completing their training. The RH law also lists actions that are not allowed, such as blocking or giving false information, refusing legal procedures like ligation or vasectomy without valid reason, denying RH services to minors who are abused or pregnant, refusing services because of gender, religion, or personal beliefs. Next is forcing women to undergo sterilization. RH law has a long political battle. It took 14 years to pass because of strong debates and protests. So it started in the 1960s with population control, but the Catholic Church strongly opposed it. They do not agree with this law. But after years of discussion and after years of struggle, the law was finally passed in 2012. To summarize RH law, It gives Filipino women and families the right to inform choices about their reproductive health. And it does not mean it promotes abortion. Instead, it aims to keep families healthy, educated, and empowered. So the RH law was a major step for women's right and health in the Philippines. It allows families to make safe and informed decisions, and it promotes fairness, health, and empowerment for all.
That's all for my reporting. Thank you everyone for listening.